Last year, my husband and I had an incredible experience. One evening, we were walking together down the street, and we saw this river of people sort of streaming down the street in a certain direction. So we decided, okay, we'll follow them. So we ended up following them down the hill towards the neighborhood of the Belzer Hasidim, Kiryat Belz, towards the Belzer Shul, which I told you in a past Mami Pep Talk, and it's the largest shul in the whole world. And that evening, it turned out it was the bar mitzvah of the oldest grandson of the Belzer Rebbe. So tens and tens of thousands of followers had come from all over the world to honor the Rebbe and to honor his grandson at his bar mitzvah. So I want to give you, to understand why this was such a dramatic and such a historical event, I want to give you a little bit of historical background on the Belzer Hasidim. The Belzer Hasidim, like most Hasidim in Europe, were completely and totally devastated by the Holocaust. And the Belzers have a special history in that their Rebbe and the Rebbe's brother, miraculously, through a series of sort of bizarre miracles, survived the Shoah, survived the war, and in fact came to Palestine in 1944. Now just think about it. They came to Palestine, they snuck out through Istanbul to Palestine in 1944. I mean, it's an incredible story. So the Rebbe and his brother, they had lost their wives and all of their children in Europe to the Nazis, Yimach Shamam, and the Belzers set up base in Tel Aviv. So and they had very few Hasidim who had survived the war, living in Israel, living in Palestine. So basically, the Rebbe died without children, and his brother had one son. That one son is the current Belzer Rebbe. And that one son, the current Belzer Rebbe, had one child, a son. And that single son thank God, had several children. And the oldest of his children, celebrated his bar mitzvah last year. So just so you can understand, sort of the historical context of why everyone was extremely happy and overjoyed to be celebrating the bar mitzvah of the grandson of the Belzer Rebbe. So basically, that evening, the Belzer Hasidim, they set up this humongous tent, and in the courtyard of their shul, and these tens and tens of thousands of Hasidim from all over the world gathered together to celebrate the bar mitzvah. There were Hasidim there from New York, from Canada, from Australia, from England, from Belgium, of course from all over Israel. And also the women or whoever was outside, we were able to watch it. They set up a big movie screen for us to watch what was going on inside the tent. And it was just an incredibly emotional thing to see tens and tens of thousands of Hasidim there. My husband studies with an elderly rabbi who told him that in the years following the war, the Belzer Hasidim couldn't get a minyan. They didn't have 10 men for a minyan in Jerusalem in the years following the war. And to contrast that with seeing these tens and tens of thousands of Hasidim dancing and celebrating the bar mitzvah of the grandson of the Rebbe, I think that I think I was not alone. And then, seeing this event, I felt like I was witnessing Tchiyat HaMetim. I was witnessing the resurrection of the dead. Here you see these people, these Hasidim, who were nearly annihilated, and then to see them, celebrating and thriving and flourishing even. Tens and tens of thousands of Belzer Hasidic households all over the world. It's an amazing thing. I recently heard this week that Rebbetzin Esther Jungreis says that the Jewish people, that we are the people of the impossible. That if you look at Jewish history and you look at the amount of crusades and pogroms and, the Holocaust, you look at what we've been through, it is on a rational level absolutely impossible. To look at our history and to look at the extent to which we are today flourishing and thriving and, and existing even. We are the people of the impossible. We are the eternal nation, the Jewish people. And it just doesn't make any sense. And I'm going to say something now, extremely, extremely obvious. Okay? But I think it's something that we need to hear. That in whose merit are we the people of the impossible? Are we the eternal nation? So of course in the merit of Hashem, the merit of God, who does all sorts of miracles for us and, and gives us the strength and gives us His Torah in order to continue, to have the inspiration to keep on surviving, and God who makes it possible for us to survive. But who in this world, who is keeping the Jewish people going? It's me, and you, and you, and you. It's every single Jewish mom. We read in the Torah. We know from the curse of Eve that it says "Be'etzev toldi banim," that you will bear children with suffering, and you just see that every child that comes into the world is done with such a tremendous amount of self-sacrifice. This past week, Shalom Nida, a young mother, she was giving birth to her first child. And she died. She died while she was giving birth. She not only died, may there never be, tragic stories like this again. But I think it gives us a sense of what we're talking about here. It gives us a sense of sort of the difficulty and the self-sacrifice it always involved in bringing a new Jewish baby into the world. There are women who have difficulty getting pregnant. There are women who are going through miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage. But they keep on trying and they keep on, conceiving because they want it. They so want to have another Jewish baby. And there are women who are doing fertility treatments, painful and very, very difficult fertility treatments for years and years and years because they so want to bring another Jewish baby into the world. And there are the women who do get pregnant. But then the beginning of the pregnancy, what we call morning sickness. It sounds fairly harmless, but it's really actually quite a devastating thing to experience. It's exhausting and it's very, very uncomfortable. And then the women who have varicose veins, the women who have severe back pain, and for all of us, giving birth is always, it's the most painful experience that exists. And we say that, it's the most painful experience that exists, but does it really register? Does it really register the amount of self-sacrifice that Jewish women are going through in order to bring another Jewish child into the world? Not to mention, raising a Jewish child and all the difficulties involved in that as well. So, I just want to bless all of us that we should remember, that the Jewish people, that we are the people of the impossible, that we are the eternal nation because of us, because of Jewish moms, because of our self-sacrifice. So I want to bless everyone. Keep that in mind. Bless everyone with an amazing, amazing week. A week of good news.